Hello and welcome to this session in which we will discuss a limited liability partnership, or known as LLP. LLP share many similarities with the general partnership that we talked about in the prior sessions. We had 3 sessions about general partnerships. So if you are not familiar with general partnership, I strongly suggest you look at the general partnership, because limited liability partnership and general partnership are very similar. I'm only going to be discussing the differences, especially when it comes to how profit and losses are managed, are distributed. Well, what is that? Equal unless agreed otherwise. So unless there's an agreement then on how the profit is distributed, we assume it is distributed equally. Now, there are certain differences between LLP and a general partnership, especially when it comes to personal liability and the business formation. And this is what we'll need to discuss in this session. Specifically, the limited personal liability of partners' action, the liability for personal actions and supervised individuals, the limited liability for debt and contractual obligation, and the formation of the LLP. And this is what we'll be discussing in this session, each one of them separately. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, FarhatLectures.com. Farhat Accounting Lectures is a supplemental educational tool that's going to help you with your CPA exam preparation as well as your accounting courses. My CPA material is aligned with your CPA review course such as Becker, Roger, Wiley, Gleam, Miles. My accounting courses are aligned with your accounting courses, broken down by chapter and topics. My resources consist of lectures, multiple choice questions, true-false questions, as well as exercises. Go ahead, start your free trial today. Starting with limited personal liability. Now, the first thing I want you to think about is this picture that I have here. Basically, doctors, right? We're looking at doctors. Here, I'm going to assume those are accountants. Accountant, doctors, lawyers. When you look at their names, you would see the name of the business, comma, LLP. Now you're thinking, yes, why is it doctors LLP? Why is it lawyers LLP or accountant LLP? Here's the major reason. In an LLP, unlike a general partnership, this is where they differ, a partner is not personally liable for the debt or obligation of the partnership that arise from mistakes, carelessness, wrongful acts committed by other partners, or by employees, agent, or representative of the LLP. What does that mean? Let's assume let's go back here to this. Let's assume those are, rather than accountant, lawyers, 4 lawyers right here. And let's assume this individual here committed, they did not file a paper for a client on time, or they committed some sort of malpractice. They lied to a client, they did something illegal, and they committed a malpractice. Well, this individual was sued by the client. Okay? How about those 3 individuals that they didn't do anything wrong? Those 3 individuals are protected. What does that mean? It means the other 3 individuals are not responsible for the mistakes, carelessness, or wrongful act of the other partner. And that's why doctors, lawyers, and accountant, as well as other professionals, they organize as LLP, but those are mainly the 3 ones. And this is a significant difference because it offers protection to each partner from the action of others within the partnership. So you want to work in this partnership, but you don't want to be responsible for the malpractice or the wrongful act of another partner, because it has nothing to do with you. Therefore, you have some sort of a protection. Now, bear in mind, we said you are protected from employees, agent, and representative of the LLP. How about if you are supervising, some people are under your direction and they committed fraud? Well, despite the limited liabilities for others' action, partners in LLP are still personally liable for their own negligence. We don't have to mention this now. If you committed a negligent act or a wrongful act, well, guess what? Now you are responsible. You are personally responsible because you're the one who committed that. That's different. Also, partners are responsible for the action of an individual who are directly under their supervision or control. Now, if you told your secretary or your clerk the wrong information and they passed it, you cannot blame them. They're under your supervision. They're under your control. It's as if you personally committed that negligence or wrongful act. This means that a partner or someone they directly oversee commits an error or wrongful act, that partner can be held personally accountable. So just want to make sure you understand this. It's not only the individual, the people that they supervise and they direct, it's under their control, committed that under their supervision, the person is responsible, the partner. Liability for debt and contractual obligation. Here in general, and the word in general here is, I emphasize the word in general, partners in an LLP are not personally liable for the partnership debt and contractual obligation. This is also a major difference between an LLP and a general partnership, where partners can be personally liable for the partnership debt. Now the question becomes, is this always the case? Not at all. Sometimes a partner could be personally held liable. Well, under what circumstances? Well, if they are responsible, if they are personally responsible, they could be held liable. But again, this is case by case. Here we're talking in general. Another major difference between a general partnership and LLP and its formation. To establish an LLP, you must formally file a document with the state government. This document is known as the registration's statement of qualification, application for registration, or certificate of limited liability partnership. It's an important step that legally distinguish the organization, the LLP, from other type of partnership in business. What's required? What do you have to include? The certificate or registration typically would require information about the partnership, such as the name of the LLP, the location of the office of the LLP, the number of partners involved, description of the business, and what partnership business they will undertake. Now you have to understand, in certain states, again, those are state laws, some businesses cannot be formed as an LLP. Remember, LLP, as I told you at the beginning, think about lawyers, doctors, accountants. When you think of LLP, professionals, any professional that are using their own effort and skills, and their own effort and skills can be separated from the other individual. So if one committed a malpractice, wrongful act, it doesn't affect the other partner. So the other partner is protected. That's the whole purpose of it. Often this restriction applies to professional services such as accounting, law, and other learned professions. So only if you are accounting, law, usually medical, you can be an LLP in some states. Other businesses, they cannot be. This means not all businesses can choose to form an LLP in every state. What should you do now? Well, you want to go to Farhat lectures, look at additional MCQs. I have MCQs that are AI CPA previously released AI CPA questions. You want to review those. I have thousands of multiple choice questions that's going to help you prepare. Invest in yourself. Good luck. So one day you will be a partner in an LLP as a CPA. And of course, stay safe.